I want to talk about something that I think a lot of people can feel happening in the country right now, even if they don't always know how to say it, simply because if you do, you always get shut down. Everybody's going to shout at you for something. And that is that men, I believe, are being pushed out of American society, and this is not good. I don't mean that men are disappearing, because obviously that would be stupid. Men are still everywhere. And what are they doing? They're doing all the work that keeps the country running. Men are out there building the roads and fixing the trucks and working on the power, fighting the wars, carrying all the heavy stuff, protecting the neighborhoods. We're running all the businesses, we're working dangerous jobs, and we show up when something breaks because somebody has to deal with it. It doesn't matter what the weather is, if it's hot, it's too cold. Men are out doing the work, but it's culturally, socially, morally, spiritually, men are being told to step back, to quiet down, to soften themselves and apologize for the instincts that they have inside of them. And then we're supposed to accept that these parts of them that make them men are somehow the problem. No, it doesn't make any sense to me. The amazing part is that we've done this to them and then we act shocked when these boys start falling apart. And I don't think that this problem is all that complicated. It's easy to see because obviously we spent all these years telling boys that their aggression is toxic. That imagine telling a boy, hey, that ambition you have, knock it down, it's dangerous. Or the competitiveness that you have born inside of you, no. That's insecurity. You want to lead? You want to lead because that instinct comes to you innately? No, stop that. That's oppressive, you see. And my favorite one, I think everybody's favorite one, is masculinity. That's something that needs to be managed and corrected. It needs to be softened, and you better apologize for it. We do all this, then we look around and wonder, why do so many young men, why are they so passive and addicted? Why are they so angry? Why are they anxious? Why do they isolate themselves by checking out? Why are they lost is a better question. Because society cannot rob boys of their power and then complain that they have no direction. That's exactly what we're doing. Think about that. This stupid phrase, toxic masculinity, it's become one of the dumbest, but I think one of the most destructive phrases in modern life. If a man is toxic, we need to simply say the man is toxic. If a woman is toxic, we need to say that. If your wife, if your husband, if your friend, if your brother, if your community, if your leader, if your pastor, if your politician is toxic, call the behavior what it is. But masculinity itself is not toxic. That's ridiculous. In fact, quite the opposite. Men, I want you to hear me, because masculinity is what built, what protects, what fought for, what repairs and repaired, what invented, what defended, and what's held together more of civilization than modern culture is ever willing to admit. By far, it's a travesty. It's wrong. And y'all need to hear me when I say, men, that the problem is not your masculinity. Now, I'm not going to let men off the hook. The problem certainly is masculinity without discipline or fathers or some sort of faith standard. Masculinity is not a problem unless it comes without responsibility or a mission. And certainly society has pushed out all of the older men, the very mentors needed to teach young boys how to behave. This is madness, and that is the part we are missing. See, we keep acting like the answer is to make boys softer. We want them to be quieter. We want them to be more agreeable. We want them to be more emotional, more compliant. Like a more emotional man is something that we all want. There is nothing more dangerous in the world. The second most dangerous thing in the world, in my estimation, is an emotional, broken, soft man. Culture, society wants men to be more effeminate, as if removing the hard edges from a boy will somehow turn that boy into a better man. I think it's backwards. I think boys need discipline, and they need their fathers. Boys need coaches and mentors, and they must have consequences. They need to be challenged through physical hardship. They certainly need faith and work, and above all else, responsibility. And as I said, they definitely need other men who will tell them the truth. And To do that, they need to be trained, and they need that training. They don't need to be shamed. The numbers are certainly telling us that something is wrong. In 2024, America had 80,000 odd drug overdose deaths. And of those 80,000, 55,000 of them were men. Now, some simple math tells us that's 7 out of 10 people. In 2023, there were 50,000 suicide deaths in the United States, round numbers, and 40,000 of them were men. That's 8 out of 10 people who killed themselves. If this happened to anybody else, any other race, any other sect, it would be absolute front page news. But because it's men, we get thrown to the side. Those numbers I just gave you are not side issues either. Those should be absolutely flashing red lights. Combine that with, let's go to education. In 1970, men were the majority in college with about 4.25 odd million male undergrads compared with about 3.1 odd million females. By 2023, that had flipped hard with about almost 7 million male undergrads and just over 9 million female. Now, I'm not mad at women. I'm happy they're succeeding. And only a fool would hear that from what I just said. So if you heard that, you're a fool. Why are so many young men checking out before they ever really get a chance to get started? And when the country goes to war, with all of that being said, who pays that bill first? Well, let me tell you, it's mostly young men. Vietnam alone had more than 47,000 American battle deaths and more than 153,000 wounded. And across America's wars, men have carried the bulk of the fighting and the dying and the physical destruction and everything that comes with defending the country. Even today, most all male U.S. citizens and male immigrants between 18 and 25 are required to register with Selective Service. So let's just think about that bargain for a second here. We expect men to, defend the country, build the country, pay for the country, protect the country, show up when things break, run towards danger, carry the responsibility, absorb all of the stress, and stay useful. But then we're going to tell boys that their instincts needed to do all of those things? No, that's suspicious. It's no wonder young men are confused. Before anyone hears this and turns it into another excuse-making session for men, though, let me be clear, I'm not interested in men becoming victims in response to any of this. I do not want men sitting around whining about women or feminism or politicians. I don't want to hear you whine about any of those things. No teachers or your schools or people that didn't take care of you, the courts work against you, or the economy's terrible, culture's out to bite us, or the system, even when those complaints are completely valid. Because now what? And that's the question. The thing is, man, we let a lot of this happen. We let weak people define what strength is. We certainly let bitter people define masculinity. And then we let loose these broken institutions to teach it to our boys. And then we let social media on top of that raise them. We let public schools punish normal boy behavior until boys started believing something was wrong with them. For most of my life, culture has mocked fathers and husbands. It has mocked providers. It's mocked faith and duty. And it has mocked the kind of men who made the whole thing possible, everything that we have in the first place. That is on us, men, pure and simple. But at some point, men have to stop acting like this happened while we weren't there. We absolutely were in the middle of it. We just stopped speaking clearly enough. We stopped leading strongly enough. We stopped building the kind of homes and businesses and churches and the teams and the communities where boys could see what manhood actually looks like. That is why, it's exactly why I have the feelings I do about Andrew Tate and that whole world. See, I agree with a lot of what Andrew says. I really do. And a lot of the people in that same world, I agree with a lot, the majority of what they say. A lot of their criticism of weak men and soft culture and fake morality and the attack on masculinity, it's not wrong. And I understand why young men listen, because for a lot of boys, those guys were the first ones who told them that they were actually allowed to be strong and ambitious and dangerous and disciplined and unapologetic for all of that. But I want men to listen to me. Listen closely. If your version of masculinity teaches boys to disrespect women, to treat wives like they're your property, to chase sexual attention, or build your whole identity around money and dominance, or use women as entertainment, you are not building men. You are simply building another kind of weakness. I don't know another way to put it. And I don't care how much the message sounds right. If the foundation is rotten, which it is with these people, then the house, you're just not safe on it. We don't need pimps with microphones, men. We need fathers and leaders and builders. We need warriors who are under control. We need husbands who love their wives. We need men who will die to protect their children, who can fight, but not live constantly looking for fights. Before we get back to the episode, let me ask you something. Are you tired of being told that ambition is toxic? How about masculinity is a problem? And the answer to every struggle is that you should lower your standards. Well, I am, and that is why I built the Kronos Forge. It's a free community for men who want to get more out of themselves, quite frankly. You want to lose weight, build a business, get a promotion, save your marriage, find a relationship, become a better father or an employee, a better friend, a better businessman. How about get your money right? Or maybe just get around men who refuse to apologize for wanting more, something we have done since the dawn of time. If who I am, if what I have built, how I think, and the way that I see the world resonates with you, then you need to get in this room. Nobody is coming to save us, and that is fine with us. Go to thekronosgroup.org/forge or click the link in the show notes. Come check us out. We need men who will go to work and who will pray and who will train their bodies and who will build great things and who will provide for their families and do it all while keeping their word when no one claps for them. That's the model. That's what we want. And I do think that there is a rebound starting. I don't want to overstate the data because the numbers on religion and politics can be a little bit skewed. But near as I can tell, if I look at some polling from Gallup, has shown a real rise in young men saying religion is very important to them. It's up from 28% in 2022 and 2023 to 42% in 2024 and 2025. Pew, on the other hand, has been even more cautious, but does say that the broader national religion picture has been fairly stable since 2020. So I'm not going to pretend that there is some massive national revival if the data does not fully prove that yet. No, but culturally, and I have a lot of these conversations, I do think you can feel something is moving, and I want to encourage this in men. I think younger men are starting to push back. I think some are becoming more conservative, and I think some are returning to church and religion, and they are rejecting the lie that masculinity is something to apologize for. Some are realizing what we all know instinctively, and that is that being a victim is a dead end, and that matters. But if this rebound is going to become real, it cannot just be a political one, and it cannot just be young men getting mad online. See, anger at the libs or complaining about feminism or watching clips of some guy smoking a cigar and calling it everyone weak, that ain't going to cut it, boys. Men have to become useful again. That means getting their bodies right. It means building skills. It means working. Go get married and do it for the right reasons and stay married. It means not only having children, but raising them. It means building businesses and build a career and go to church and build communities and make friendships and build a strong households, strong enough to withstand the toxic garbage being pushed out at you every single day. More than anything, we need our boys to see men being men in real life and not this fake tough guy internet men or men who always talk a lot and produce nothing. I'm talking actual men. I'm talking men who can carry the weight without making everyone else carry their emotions. Think about that. Men who can lead and not be tyrannical, who can protect their families, but don't be reckless about it. And this one, men, we're looking for ones who can love women without being weak around those women. I don't know where we got away, where we got off from this. Fairly straightforward. This is a big one also. We want men who can endure pain without turning it into their identity. That's a big one. Too many victims out there. Too many whiners, too many commiserators. That's the balance we're looking for. And I want to give you a news flash. Men, you can be hurt without becoming a victim. I know you're being told differently than that. That's reality. Men can certainly become angry. Goes without saying. I've been there a million times. You just got to do it without becoming bitter about it. We can be dangerous, but we don't have to lose control. And so many men are capable of being compassionate, but that does not mean that you become soft. See, we have to reject the garbage being pushed on boys, but not use it as an excuse to sit around and blame everybody else. That is a losing proposition. The answer for me to all of that is simple, and it is not for men to complain louder. It's for them to simply start being men again. Now, look, I don't mean men as a costume, and I certainly don't mean growing a beard and smoking a cigar and screaming and yelling online or running off and buying a course or pretending that you are some kind of warrior because you reposted a clip. That is the work for children. I'm talking about real men. I'm talking about responsibility and discipline and faith and strength and family and work and brotherhood and standards and men with consequences and ones who have controlled aggression, ones who provide that protection, who provision for their families and provide leadership as daily behavior precisely because our boys are watching and they're watching what we tolerate, whether we speak up, whether we fold, whether we protect them from the lies or we leave them alone to figure it out from all of those crazy strangers online. I want to build something strong enough for them to inherit, and I want other men to help me do that. Because right now, too many boys are being handed two terrible options. You either become soft and apologetic and confused and ashamed of yourself, or you can run toward that loud, broken man online who gives them strength but doesn't really teach them anything. Makes them very dangerous. Neither one's good enough for me. I think we need to give them a better model. I think that we need to give them strong, disciplined, faithful, useful men. Men who do not apologize for being men, but also do not use masculinity as an excuse to be selfish or reckless or cruel or stupid. That is what I think this moment is really about. I think men need to stop being victims, but they also need to stop pretending society got here by accident because we protected and built this society, and then we allowed parts of it to turn against the very boys who were supposed to inherit it. And that has to change, I think. How does it change? It changes when men stop waiting for permission and stop accepting that lie that masculinity is somehow toxic. Let's stop letting boys be softened and then get all confused, and let's start building again in our homes, and then building again our bodies, and then going and building at work, and then going and building in their churches and on their businesses and in their communities. That is the work our boys, I think, need to see. And if men do not do it, I promise you people, nobody else is going to come and save them. I want to tell you about something I'm doing for the first time. I'm putting together the first Kronos Group cohort. That's 10 business owners max. And understand this is not a course. It's a peer-level work with other operators and direct access to me on a month-to-month basis. We're going to go deep on what actually moves the needle for businesses, like systems and sales and leadership and staying sane while you're building something real, fitness, health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. This group is for you. The people who get in on this first cohort get founder pricing, and that's the trade for going first. And it won't be open long, and it's not going to stay at this price for sure. If you've been listening to this show or me and thinking you need a room like this, you probably do. 10 spots, founder special. Check it out. The link's in the show notes.